I'm at Sutton Hoo, and this is how the burial chamber was discovered when it was. This is just like a representation of that. There's like a cauldron down here, and that was what was left of it. Roman silverware, and then a sword, a gold purse and coins, a gold buckle, and then the famous gold shoulder clasps. And the helmet fragments in the distance over there on the right, and then I think there are a couple of other things. Shield over on the far bit over there. Yeah, I don't know what that bit was, perhaps it's more shield, but yeah, that's how the original burial was discovered. Quite useful. And obviously these are the boat, what do you call them, joists. This is a great place. Really quite excited about being here randomly. I've always wanted to see Sutton Hoo. So yeah, I'm just heading off to the Royal Burial Ground. Once I get there, there's a viewing platform, and I'll come back down. Oh, I'll get up there even, sorry. And yeah, show you everything that I can see from up there. Is that Edith Priddy's house? Not sure, I'll find out later on. So this is the valley that leads up to the mounds. I'm guessing, I don't know how far away the river is now, because obviously it was a boat and it was dragged from the river. And then put in place or dug out and then buried. It's incredible the effort they went to. I mean, really amazing. Not quite as incredible as perhaps well, the pyramids. I often think maybe the other pyramids, but not the Great Pyramid. But even that, like, it's an incredible feat of engineering just to pop a body in it. And then, yeah, in Anglo-Saxon times and with their technology, just digging an enormous hole and putting a boat in it and then laying. I mean, that's a hell of a thing to do for anybody. Yeah, so I don't know vast amounts about this particular burial site. Obviously I know huge amounts about the Anglo-Saxons, and I know here that it's supposed to be a king. They've assigned it to a king, the burial, the famous burial, to a guy called, a king called Redwald, who was around in the 600s. I think it's something mid 600s, something like that. I have no idea how they came up with that. Whether the dating is entirely accurate, and yeah, who knows? Who knows? I know there's like the viewing tower over there. So yeah, I'm just going to head over there and get up and have a proper look down onto the entire burial ground area. So there is burial mound number 1. I don't know which one this is. Don't know how much. Oh look, we've got a signpost over here, so. You are here. So mound number 2 was a ship burial chamber underneath the ship. Robbed out at 1600 and 1860, excavated in 1938 and 1988, reconstructed to original size. So that is roughly what it looked like. Mound 10, so there were 18 mounds here. Mound 15, unexcavated mound, probably robbed. Mound 14, the Queen's Mound, the only known female grave, robbed, excavated 1991. God, they've all been robbed. Robbed. All of them, apart from that one ship burial. It's very strange, isn't it? Robbed, excavated 90, so they, yeah, God knows who was brave enough to just go in and rob them. But I suppose maybe people knew that they were places where some treasure was kept, and we have so many times of poverty throughout the centuries. Doesn't take much for people to start looking for anything they can to get ahead. Almost like a politician, isn't it? So this is the main royal burial ground area behind me, and here all the various mounds that sound like they've all been robbed out. But then over here there's an enormous field. I mean, that is enormous. But I'm pretty sure that in this one or the one over there, there were hundreds more burials, sort of like normal burials for your average folk. Would imply that there was a pretty big settlement here of these people, and again they must have been Anglo-Scandinavian, bearing in mind the relation that we have to from the helmet that was found within the ship burial and Beowulf. That was one of the first clues we had that Beowulf was probably real. It talked about the boar-shaped decorations on the helmet, and then they found it on the helmet. Before that, people weren't really sure, or some people weren't anyway. I've got such a strong feeling that Tolkien knew that Beowulf was a Anglo-Scandinavian that had settled in Sussex, and that he was documented in the Anglo-Saxon Chronicle as Beowulf. He was so good at etymology that I can't believe for a second that he didn't notice all those correlating characters in the Beowulf manuscript to the characters that surround the life of Beowulf, Egbert and all these guys. Ethelwulf, Ethelred, Ethelbald, Hæthcyn, Alfred the Great. He would have noticed that for sure. And then he created a character called Beorn, who is basically an Anglo-Scandinavian giant king who lives in the woods. It was kind of like his hint, I think, his hint to let us all know that he knew, but you couldn't say anything. And I keep thinking, like, why? And I think it's all to do with national identity, and the Swedes have claimed it, and that's kind of just been standard, but it's not right. Quite a good view of all these various mounds. You've got to kind of expect that a lot of these were a lot bigger at one point. Especially if they've all been dug and robbed out, the amount of earth you've got to move. If you haven't seen it, watch The Dig. It's a rather beautiful story. That was not just a story, it's the true story of how the boat burial was found in the first place by Edith Priddy, and then she hired a kind of a groundsman from the local village to come and dig one of these out. God, what an amazing thing to be here and see it. It was brilliant. I think once he'd found something and had done an amazing job at preserving all of the ship ribs, that's the word, and showing us how the whole ship looked like, then the British Museum came in and tried to take credit for everything, obviously, and took over. Oh, you know, same old bloody thing, isn't it? But yeah, they've now got all of the goods that came out of here. Luckily there aren't so many that you can't keep track of them, and they're so important that they probably can't be stolen by the guy that's running it, unless he has done already and just created replicas. Who knows? So just coming down to the viewing tower. It's quite impressive all on its own. Nice horse chestnut. Yeah, look at that, it's quite incredible. That's the viewing tower. Get up there and have a look down on the ground. That one is the Great Ship Burial.
Burial mound. ship burial is just in front of us.
That one, another ship burial.
Oh yeah, that looks quite long, doesn't it?
Ooh. King Redwold was buried here.
Number 2 is fun.
Yes, that's not the ship.
So I think it's that field over there where the other burials were, and actually you can see quite a lot of field markings in there. Whether they are the old burials or not, I don't know, but it's an impressive landscape. I wonder if you can see the river from up here. Yes, just all the way down there. But yeah, even here the river is a lot further away than it used to be during the Roman warm period and right up to a lot later on. Storms in the 1257 changed that around. But it was probably even still a lot bigger than we see it today, up right up to the 1600s. That's really cool up here. It's quite clever here, so that's the ship burial there, and right down here, if you can see it, that right there is showing you the end of the ship, and there's the other end, so you get a much better idea of how big it was. Yeah, highly recommend watching the dig. Then you can literally watch this whole thing and how it occurred, and they did a really good recreation on it. It's quite a moving little film. I have just come back down again, and we can just go up to have a look at the end of the boat. There we go. Oh look, that's great. Werden wunden. White regard. I really feel bad, but I can't remember the name of the chap that dug the mound out. It was really down to him and Edith Priddy that we've got any of this. Otherwise, no doubt it would have all just been stolen again. Because it was so well witnessed. Yeah, that wasn't a possibility. Just going for a walk down to the valley where I'm guessing, unless they came up this way and there weren't trees and everything here, they pulled the ships up that valley. It's just great. I love walking the footsteps of these ancient ancestors of ours. It's really, really nice feeling. And I often have wondered, you know, whether there is any connection between these kings, this royal Saxon family, and Rendell being perhaps the real identity of Grendel. It's even spelled the same, and ham is just home or farm. So ton is farm, ham is home. That's where literally etymologically we get the word home from. So it's Rendell's home, and perhaps Rendell evolved into Grendel later down the line. He's just a fierce chieftain, another giant warrior. Because yeah, that's something else that people really aren't aware of. The size of some of these guys when they've been excavated, there were a couple that were found that were over 7 foot, and you think like they're giants in an era where most of the people are sort of under 5'5", and obviously they're going to be so visually striking against everybody else, and more powerful, stronger. You know, it's like having our modern day Iron Men, you know, like these massive weightlifter guys. but even bigger than them. But yeah, you'd want them in your front lines, wouldn't you? And perhaps they were just warring people that went off against the South Saxons, and yeah, that's why eventually it became, you know, like, go to bed, children, or Rendell will come and get you. And then soon he became a monster. Who knows? So here's the valley. Yeah, and that will go quite a long way down there towards the river. But like I say, the river was way closer when they were putting the ships out of it. And over there, that must be Edith Priddy's house, because there aren't any others. What a building. Really looking forward to actually having a look at that as well. God, you imagine living there. I think she was on her own when she was living there as well, which is a bit odd. I know she had a son with her. That's right, her little son. Oh God, that's a sad story. Watch the dig. It really is really beautiful. But yeah, there's the valley. I suppose they'd have brought it up to somewhere around this point and then come up here to where the mounds are, just over that ridge. I wonder what else is waiting to be found around here. Get a little bit of Saxon warrior. Blackberry. Finding a good one. These are all a bit manky actually. I don't know what it is about this place, but it feels so peaceful. It's so lovely. There is something absolutely lovely about this. A nice vibe. Perhaps it's just me. I'm just enjoying being here, but God, I keep thinking about this. It is pretty, and her son growing up here. God, I'd have loved growing up here. I was lucky because I did grow up in Buxted, so I had countryside at my doorstep, and yeah, I wasn't surrounded by concrete constantly. But this is another level. These are interesting. It's where I don't know, rabbits or badgers or something are digging into the side of the mound. If you ever wanted to find something without doing any digging, it's worth having a poke around in these. Seashell. It's beautiful here. There's the river down there, much better view. And you can see these are two Hoos, promontories poking out into the old estuary. And that is Edith Priddy's house. It is gorgeous. Over there is the burial ground and the mound. You can see mound number 2, that one, and then there's the viewing tower just behind those trees. But yeah, she would have been able to see the mounds. There's a story of her seeing like kind of the ghosts of Saxon warriors walking across it.
Actually, nobody dug into them until probably around 1600, which is the National Trust It's quite different to all the other views of Sutton Hoo landscape over many years, because most other landscapes
We were confronted with an old stone rubble.
Go.
Had the good fortune to see the place where no belt buckle came out. And just near me, somebody else was excavating the remains of the gold and enamel pearls. The gold also gave Stuart Piggott, now Abercrombie Professor of Prehistoric Archaeology at Edinburgh University, my recent experience of a less serious kind.
well, there's definitely a snake as well. There's nothing there to actually see very much.
Coming back.
There might be.
Well, I was probably going to say, yes, I said, you're absolutely full. As I spoke, I was holding the box containing the grain of gold belt in my rather slinky hand, cut from the back coat, and she basically knew what to take at face value. Oh, they said, splendid news, have a great day.
So they found a very skeleton of a horse. Another unscrambled
Ladybird.
That is impressive. A shield fit for a king.
We were here 2 weeks ago.
I'm just leaving Woodbridge in Suffolk. After being at Sutton Hoo, it was so great. I gotta say, it's like really one of my favourite places I've ever been. Then whether it's just the connection to turn my aircon down. Just the connection to the whole Anglo-Saxon period and the fact that I love that, or having watched the film, being able to go and see where it all happened. But there's a vibe there. There's a really wonderful vibe in that place. Can't explain it other than that, you know, I'm sort of quite sensitive to places. But yeah, it's one of the happiest places I've ever been in.